Witchblade opens with the darkness, Jackie Estacado, revealing that the world has been renewed after 13 artifacts were brought together, resulting in the universe being destroyed. The Witchblade, otherwise known as Sara Pizzini, now lives as a PI in Chicago. She investigates a case for a woman who believes that her husband is cheating on her. Sara, however, discovers that her husband has actually died by mystical means, leading her to... This leads Sara to a goth club, where she meets a man named Kane. The two talk until Kane leaves to go meet another woman. A disgruntled Sara then faces a woman wearing flesh Witchblade armor. Sara manages to defeat the woman defeats the woman, but the police arrest her, believing that she has killed an elderly woman. Sara is released on bail by Kane, who is revealed to be a magician, and is also attracted to Sara physically and magically. Kane gives Sara a magic show, resulting in a spontaneous kiss from Kane. Sara breaks off the kiss and returns home, where she begins to have side effects from the new reality. Elsewhere, Miss Spiegel, the old grandma that wore the flesh armor, reflects on her old appearance. She receives a visit from a purple-headed witch, and the two fight, attracting Sara's attention. Sara fights the purple-headed witch named Esmeralda. She flees the scene after Sara defeats her. Sara learns that Miss Spiegel was among several elderly figures who discovered the flesh armor. The armor is actually a parasite that feeds on others and grants youth in return. Spiegel dies as a result. Sara then goes to Kane's theater. However, she finds that someone has already broken into it. Heading to save him, Sara meets Jane, a woman who has it in for Sara. Sara manages to deflect Jane's abuse and drive off with her car. Elsewhere, Estacado arrives home, having been on a trip to Hawaii. He heads to his study, and a demon reveals information on Sara. Also, the Witchblade gang hold a captive Kane inside their caravan, demanding the location of the fountain. Jane continues to follow Sara and is caught up in the fountain nest, with Sara trying to protect her. Elsewhere, 3 artifact users are underground in Chicago. They fight a demon creature which attacks them and captures a woman named Charlotte. Elsewhere, Sara and Jane begin to battle the flesh-infected individuals. Meanwhile, the biker gang finish torturing Kane, who then becomes infected by a version of the darkness. Sara attempts to contact Jackie Estacado, but he rejects her phone call. Sara and Jane try to arrest the flesh-infected individuals. However, Kane and the biker gang arrive to attack them. Sara must face Kane and the biker gang before they kill Jane and take the fountain. This book is part of the Top Cow universe, and it's part of this, and Witchblade is a series of books about a woman who possesses an artifact, which is one of the which is one of the 13 artifacts that controls an elemental force. And basically what the Witchblade does, or is it's an artifact that is passed down through various women throughout the ages. And it's sort of like Buffy, that in every generation a Slayer is born. And it's the Witchblade that balances light and darkness. It's a very, very fascinating concept. And it's something that I really, really enjoy as a story. So, Witchblade Volume 1 Rebirth is supposed to be like a way for readers to go into this universe. And unlike The Darkness Volume 1 Rebirth, I found Witchblade Volume a lot more accessible, a lot more easy to follow, and Sara, the woman who possesses the Witchblade, is an extremely likable character. And she's very different to the Darkness. One of my complaints about the Darkness, as you will hear, as if you go onto that review, you'll hear that one of my complaints about that comic was the fact that the Darkness wasn't a likable character. Jackie Estacado isn't a very likable character. Jackie Estacado does appear in this book, aka The Darkness. He does appear in this book, and basically because there is a new world, Sara Pazzini's child actually is the daughter of Jackie and his wife, which I explain more about in my actual book, in my actual review for the Darkness comic. And it seems like the way this new world is it's beginning to affect Sara. Like, Sara remembers fragments of the previous universe. And I thought that was very, very interesting. I'm also quite curious as to what the conversation would be like when Sara finds out that Jackie changed the universe to suit his own goals. As far as the villains go, the villains are very, very interesting and very, very different. First off, you have this biker gang chick. These witch biker gang chick people. All of them are very, very attractive, and are very, very different. And the biker gang are basically trying to get, get access to this fountain, which they believe, is part of their goddess. And this fountain is actually being used by these flesh armor individuals, who are actually all old people. Flesh armor individuals aren't necessarily evil, and the flesh armor individuals kind of look like a organic version of the Witchblade. It's very, very interesting and very, very cool. And I also like the look of the biker gang chicks as well. we also have another character being introduced called Cain. And in this book, like with the Darkness Rebirth, after every chapter, there are these diary entries where we learn about various different aspects of this universe. And Cain, to my understanding, Cain is a part of what's going on within those journal entries. And it seems like Cain is working for a mysterious enemy, so that's kind of intriguing. My one complaint about this book is that they present this theme of youth, and that theme doesn't go anywhere towards the end of the book. Like, there's the setup, but it never goes anywhere. And I think that's kind of annoying because this book is primarily, has a lot of nudity and a lot of sex. And as does the Darkness Rebirth. And I think one of the main problems is sex and nudity is fine in a comic book if that's a thing that you're into. But for me, there has to be good story elements to that, to the story to counteract that. Otherwise, you just get a very raunchy book. And that's not very fun either. Basically, if you're into magic and you're into really, into sexy nudity comics, then I do think Witchblade might be for you. As I've said, this book actually does have quite a lot of rich story in it. And I kind of am curious about this book series. So I may go back to it at some point. Anyway, that's my review for Witchblade Volume 1. I hope you have enjoyed it. And I shall see you all later for another comic book review. Bye.